Hi and welcome to my office. Today's subject is trail cameras or fauna cameras, whatever you want to call it. Looking at how I set them up and where I put them to give me the information that I need so that I don't have to waste time hanging around in a spot for hours, days, months, waiting to see whether there's something in a particular area. But we'll look at all the different ways that you can set this up. Your situation will be different than mine. So there's 3 different ways we'll look at where to put it for these different situations. Alright, stop waffling, Derek, and get into it. Let's have a look at how you set a camera up internally. Setting up the camera itself. Pretty basic, so that you can understand it a bit better. I'll show you how I set it up. Right, so you can put extra batteries in most of these bases if you're going to be using it for a long time, say a couple of weeks. Batteries, AA batteries normally go in these. This has 4. Yes, it has 4. There's another 4 go in there, giving it that long life. All right, so we turn the camera on. Most of them are the same. You turn it on and you hold down the on button for a bit and you get blue screen with the logo on. Come up, wait for that to load up. Right, now it's filming, so you can see it filming me. Gives you your display, then you hit, of course, your menu button. First thing we're going to go to is resolution. Whether you're taking a photograph or you're going to film a bit of footage so you can really see what's going on. You need the highest resolution. So if you're not sure about camera stuff, go for the highest number. This is a 12 megapixel camera, so it says 12 MP. Go for that high number. Click it onto that if that's what you're going to use, just taking photographs, that's all you're interested in. Now if you're going for film, which is what I use all the time, because taking a photograph sometimes doesn't always give you the best results. Even though you can pay a lot of money for these, their pictures aren't all that great. Now I'm talking mainly at night. As you can see, I'm all set up here. I've done some filming and with good results. So setting the camera up in film mode, which is what I use all the time. I don't take photographs because there's chances of them moving through quickly and you get blank photographs and you don't know what was there. So I like to film, and I like to film in the highest quality I can, because these, even though I paid a lot of money for this, they're still pretty cheap with the video quality. So it's not all that good. Tiny little sensor, so I like to put it on the highest quality that I can. Frame rates are important too. With this one, and most of them are the same, they give you some variation in the amount of footage that you can take. So the higher the number, the better off you're going to be. I want it on the highest frame rate that I can get, which is 30 on this, which is good. You get natural movement. The reason why I'm using video is so that I can see exactly what's happening here. Animal comes up, has a sniff of the food that I've put out, and then it goes off. Now it could do that in a split second. If you're taking a photograph, you're going to miss that. So having footage of something coming up and giving you time to evaluate what the animal is crucial for me. So that's why I film for, and I don't take photographs, so that I get good, accurate information that'll help me out. Now the next one, very important, is the time. Have to set the time on here and put it to stamp. So that means when you go to viewer, your bit of footage or your photograph, it'll be down on the right hand corner generally with the date and the time of day. For me, that is extremely important, knowing when an animal comes out. So whether it's during the day or at night. Critical information for me, because I film wildlife, I need to save time. I don't want to be wasting time, waiting for an animal to come out. This is why I bought this for, to save me time. Like at the minute, I film the agile antechinus. Every couple of years they shift their areas, and I need to know where they go to, and also try and find new areas as well. So having a time of day or night is crucial for me. The next thing to set up in the camera is the sensitivity of the infrared beam that picks up motion. So as the animal goes past, it sets the camera off. It has 3 settings: high, medium and low. With high, I only use that when I put the camera in a nesting box that I've made to be able to film and give me good information on the agile antechinus. Because it comes in really quick, I want the camera to set off really quick. Now a blowfly will probably set it off, but that doesn't worry me. As long as I get the female coming in and going down into the nest at the bottom, that's what I'm after. I want to know what times it's coming in and out, and I need to see the animal so that I verify it properly. Yeah, they move really quickly, and if I had it on medium or low, I wouldn't see it. Medium is for when you're in a situation much like what I've got here, with the possibility of a breeze or wind coming through and moving bits of bark and the bracken, just grasses and stuff in general. There's a chance of that happening when I'm up close like this to a subject. That's like 1300 away, the little bait box that I've got there. There's not a lot of things that'll move around here. This might, that bit of bark. So medium will be alright for this. Because my subject is small, I want it to pick it up quickly. So medium's good for this sort of conditions. Low is for when maybe I'm back a bit further. I want to get a lot more of the scene in, because it might not just come to my bait box, there might be something else further over. I'm introducing a lot more movement. If the wind's coming through here, which it does, there'll be a lot more things to move, so I'm going to get double the images that are blank, wasting battery life. So that's the only time I would use low, which I haven't had to anyway, because my subject's small. I'm always up close. I have my bait box there to draw them into an area that I want them to go to. Right, so let's get into that point and maybe setting up a bait or not setting up a bait. Where to put the camera for the best results. Setting a camera up on an open trail where we want to see what's going on. Now this is okay if it's your own forest or where people don't use it. If I set this camera up here on a main trail that everyone's walking through, I'm quite sure I'd be in trouble pretty quickly. It's just something you can't do. I have no need for it myself, but I wouldn't do it anyway. Yeah, you open the door to be maybe even sued, so don't do it. But if you're a forest ranger, parks, and you want to know what's going on the trails, day and night, a great situation, nice and open. This would get used a lot by all different sorts of animals. Simply put it onto a tree, and if you don't want people to come and steal it, you're going to have to put it up quite high, angling it, making sure you've got the right angle. You can even turn the camera on, get it filming, and then take it back off and replay it and see whether it is set up properly. It's always a good thing to do too. We want all the LED lights turned on because we're quite high off the ground, 5 to 6 metres off the ground. Want to angle it probably Probably no more than about 20 metres down the trail, maybe a little bit more if you want. And we want to be able to see things coming up closely, so it's just a matter of adjusting and seeing where you want it to stop and where you want to be able to see it finishing. That's pretty well much it for a trail like this. Pretty simple. Just chuck it on the tree. If you're doing that, you may need to make a bracket to fix it onto. You can buy cages for these for some models. Some companies make a steel cage that you can actually lock it up and put your bike cable through that has a lock on it with the lock code and stuff, or even put a small chain through with a padlock on. I haven't got one for this, and I always meant to make one, but I haven't needed to, so that people can't steal it, whether you're putting it on a small tree or whatever, down low on the ground. But yeah, if you don't want it stolen, you have to go a little bit further than what I do by simply just tying it on the tree. But yeah, I'd be making a bracket up so that you can fit it on nice and snug so it won't move. Make sure it's a big tree. If you're putting it up high on a thin tree, it is going to sway with the breeze, and that will set the camera off as well. Now I'd be setting it off to medium with the sensitivity here, cutting down the movement of branches. You're going to get a lot, and you will get a lot of photos or film that'll be nothing in it because branches and stuff, but you just have to put up with that. And that's when you would really use the backing with batteries in to help out with that. Alright, that's enough. I think I've said enough for this trail. We'll move on to the next setup. We moved into a different environment for different situations. This is a bit more open area away from the main track, so people ain't going to see our camera and steal it. Or you may simply have your own forest and you want to know what's going on in a bit more open area like this. Is sort of a fern tree forest, part of the reserve. It's more open, and also if you have a trail that's going through bracken and the undergrowth, it's quite obvious that animals are using it. It's very well worn. We're setting up for those sort of situations. Now I need a clear view, so I need a tree somewhere that'll give me a nice clear view through. And in the background you'll probably see the ground thrush hopping around, getting some worms and some material for a nest. It's building a nest up there in the trees. Just behind me there, beautiful little bird, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about this camera and what it's going to pick up. It'll pick up them too, I guess. You'll see those sort of things. So what's you might be looking for here is just simply seeing what uses these trails or this little open area that's here. Wombats are here. There's lots of burrows a bit further up, so I know that they come through here, and wallabies. I'm always finding wallabies here. So if you want to know what's coming through, or simply how many numbers of those particular animals are coming through, this would be a great situation for setting your camera up on a tree like I've got here, but having a clear view, say 10 to 15 metres away, angling the camera so that we're not getting blue sky in, because it'll blow out. These cameras aren't very good with dynamic range, so if you've got bright highlights, they will blow out and you won't be able to see what's going on during the day. So that's what I would do, is angle it so that we're just seeing off to about 10 metres or so away, so we're alleviating those sort of problems with the camera. If you don't have a tree that's in the right position, grab a star picket and hammer it in the ground, put your camera onto that. Gets me out of a lot of situations using that sort of thing. The other thing is with our LED lights, we need to cover up or turn off, like with this, like I showed you on the trail. This has 40 lights, 40 LED lights for at night. So I turn the bottom one off and I just use the top one, and I use sticky tape to cut off the amount of light that I want to come out, so I'm not overexposing again, blowing out what's going on here, because infrared lights are pretty powerful, so you need to cut them down. There's no dimmer switch on these, so I use sticky tape to only use the top row. If I used half, like that, cut off in half, I'm only going to have light on one side, so I want it to spread out. So I'd put sticky tape and only cover half of them, so there's about, I think there's 18 on the top. So I just use maybe about 10 to 15 of those LED lights to cover that sort of an area. It's a matter of experimenting. If it didn't work for you that night, it's not enough light, take the sticky tape off and have a go with them all. Whatever, you'll work it out, I'm sure. But that's how I would set up on a forest trail that's going through the bracken. It's obvious that animals are going through there all the time. You don't have a tree that's in the right position, because you don't want to be in the middle of the track and be slightly off, but still being able to see down the trail. I would put it on a star picket if there's no tree. Again, same thing though, angling, you don't want to be miles off in the distance, because you're not going to be able to work out what's going on anyway. I'd angle it down so that the furthest distance that you would see, top of the screen, would be 10 metres away. If anything comes up and then veers off before it gets to the camera, you're going to get all of that in. And again, just thinking about the exposure as well. Yeah, having everything open, you don't want that. You want to focus on that trail. Alright, we don't need to use baits for that, because we're simply just seeing what's going on. And from my experience, don't put any meat products out if you're ever going to want to attract an animal into a certain spot. Never use meat products, because you're going to bring the cats in. They will smell it from a long way away. Maybe they don't come into the reserve, but they may smell it from outside and come and have a look. And all of a sudden they realise a smorgasbord of animals to eat. So avoid using meat, sweet stuff. But again, it's all about understanding the animal that you're going to try and attract to a spot. What does it eat? So that you can use natural products to get it to come to that spot without attracting those predators in as well. Right. That's pretty well much it for setting up in this sort of an environment. You simply want to know numbers. You're not putting baits out, you just simply want them to see what comes through here for records, whatever. Anyway, we're moving on to the next subject. Now this is how I set my camera up all the time. Now because I'm setting up close, I need to be up close to my subject. I don't need much infrared lights. So I've put the sticky tape right over, and I only use 2 little LED lights showing, because otherwise it'll be massively bright and I won't be able to see what's going on here. So that's crucial. Keep thinking about how much infrared light that you'll need for during the night. Now I set the camera up at the height that I want, the angle that I want, so I'll guesstimate how I want my base to be set up. I've set my scene up. I know my subject well. Underneath logs is where you'll see runs, and where they use it to hide themselves from predators, birds of prey, any foxes, cats, anything. So I know that my subject likes these areas. I've seen the trees around here and the logs that are on the ground that are hollow, so my subject is possibly here. This is a new area that I want to test out and see where the agile's here. I'm pretty sure they are, but to make sure, I'll put the camera out again to save me time and hassle of standing around waiting to see if something turns up. Now this should be a hot spot. Lots of logs on the ground. You can see that they run underneath, using the logs as highways. plenty of evidence of that, but I don't know whether it's swamp rat or a bogle, the native rat, that are using these trails, which they are. I know that they would be, and the agile as well. So setting up a bait box positioned where they'll pick the scent up really easy is crucial as well. So I set my camera up for that. So I'm looking at somewhere where I can actually attach this to, whether I need to put a stake in the ground, because where I'm set up might have a tree like this, and that where I put the bait box is crucial. So sometimes I use a star picket, hammer that in the ground and set the camera up onto that. But I'm lucky here, it's a good setup for the tree and this log here. Now when I'm testing to see whether I've got this in exactly the right spot, I do it in two ways. The best way, pardon me again, is just having the camera about that far away, turned on so you can see the monitor, and being a bright colour, aqua colour, I can see that on the screen really easy. So I just hold it on the angle, just away from the base. I can just see the monitor. I can see whether the angle's right, everything like that. Then set it on. So turn the camera on, arm it, and then put it in. Don't panic, you got time. Even if it goes off, who cares? You lose one video. It does make you think that way. The lights on flashing. I always think, oh, better hurry, but there's no need. So then we put it on, and I also eye it up. So I look at the top of the camera, and I make sure that I haven't moved it while I'm putting it on, that it is lined up with my subject, eyeing it up over the top, and then also looking at the camera on the side, and just, even if you've got a stick and put it exactly on the angle of your subject and the lens, and just hold it up in the middle here and go, yes, that is spot on. For me, because I'm in the building trade and I have a good eye for levelling, I can see that they line up. And that's pretty well much it. Learning, understanding your subject will help you out a lot more with setting up a camera, understanding its behaviour, what it likes to eat, all those sort of things are crucial. Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you'd like to subscribe, click on the subscription button down below and you'll get notification whenever I do anything else. And my book on the Agile, if you haven't bought one yet, go and have a look at it online. At the minute, it's a little pricey maybe for most people. If it is, leave me a comment and tell me what you think of the price of it. Has it put you off buying it? At the minute, I'm not in a position to be able to buy a whole heap of books because it's self-publishing is how I've set it up. I can't afford to buy 500 and bring the price down at the minute. So, but if that doesn't bother you too much, go and have a browse at it. I'll leave links down below. It's a worthwhile book. I promise you, you'll be an expert on the agile females. It's all about the female agile antechinus, little carnivorous marsupial. It's my passion. I want the world to know about it. Funds raised from that book will help me fund a documentary that I'm making on it. So, help me out. Go down there, and you'll be helping a good cause. Now, if you'd like to go and bad throat today. If you'd like to go and have a look at my channel, click on the icon down below. There's over 60 different videos there now. All sorts of camera related stuff. Teaching photography, birds in flight, flash photography. There's just hundreds of stuff there. Go and have a browse. Even camera reviews. And just remember, if you don't do, you don't get. So get out there, start photographing and filming wildlife, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. See ya. Before you go, I forgot to say that I've actually almost completed another book on the Agile, and that's about the males side of the story, completing the series. So from the males right through their lives to when they die, and then the females going right through their lives, bringing up their young and all the antics and stuff that are in between. So it's a great read, so go and have a look, and when the new book comes out I will certainly tell you. It's not far away, maybe a week or so. And also I'll be writing another book in the future, and that'll be about my experiences of photographing and filming wildlife. The comical things I've seen over the years, and talking about how to get these footage and photographs as well. So some tips here and there, other bits and pieces. It'll be a great read, I'm sure. Alright, that's enough. I'll catch you later.